Guys, this is Nick. In the name of the FC Schalke Nofia team, I want to congratulate you on your 100th episode. Thanks for supporting us in the US, and hopefully there will be many more episodes of your podcast in the future. Glück auf!
Ball still in play. Oh, what a goal! What a magnificent, absolutely stupendous strike from Kevin Kharman. Moravec through to Raul. Lovely chip by Raul. 4-1 Schalke.
Blau und weiß sein Leben lang. Guten Tag, meine Leute. Willkommen zum das einzige Schalke Podcast auf English. That's right, folks. Officially the world's only English Schalke podcast worldwide. This is episode 109 of SchalkeMerica, and I'm your host, Richard Kharman. Typically, this is where I bring in Jack Mangan, but Jack is a little busy this afternoon, so I had to bring on another guest, a cohort here. I'll bring him right on here. Cedric Zelmat, all the way from Germany. He is a Schalke YouTuber. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I'm a very great fan of your show. And we talk today about Baum and Stevens, I think.
Yeah, it's a hot topic here. Well, thank you first for the compliment too. You know, we're big fans of you, of course, and everything that you're doing for the Schalke community. Love the videos, the analysis, and all that stuff you do. For those who may not be aware, and if you're not, shame on you. You need to follow Cedric. Tell us a little bit more about what you do out there, especially on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I started, I think, with this Schalke content about a year ago, and I started with analysis about the games, and after that, I try to make a daily content about Schalke. Sometimes I don't find the time for it, but I think almost daily I bring content to Schalke 04.
That's so impressive too. I mean, we know for sure firsthand because we do as often as we can, and it's hard enough as it is for us. And then for you doing it nearly every day, that's impressive. Mm-hmm. So that's why we look so high up to you. But yeah, it's been an interesting year, 2020, to be a Schalke fan, obviously. Sure. But the last 24 hours has been really crazy. It's been even crazier. I mean, this whole month has been just ridiculous. But obviously, to start the season, David Wagner came in, did really bad the first two games, and then he was axed. Manuel Baum comes in. When Manuel Baum first came in, what were you expecting that he could do potentially? How could he change the club? What was your expectations of him?
I don't have so good expectations about Baum. Because he had not so many experience in the Bundesliga or in the football. I mean, he has trained Augsburg, which is it's a good team, but not a very good team. And I don't know him very much. But when he started, I think he played good football, and I was a bit of surprised when I see his art or his style of playing football.
Yeah, I think the same thing for us because like you said, he only managed at Augsburg, and then he was managing with the youth team with the Die Mannschaft, and so we didn't know too much about him. We did some research on what he did at Augsburg, and we knew that there's a little bit of press. We knew that. From his conferences that he was the mentality of the team is what he's really focusing on. The psychology is very fragile for the team, and is always with the psychologist to try to make the team, because when you start losing too much, it's in your head. You can't get it out. And we don't have really bad players, but the way they're playing, we look like a Zweite Bundesliga club. Do you think in the 10 games that Manuel Baum has been manager, have you seen any kind of improvement during that time, or is it you feel the same that it was under Wagner?
No, I think it was a very big improvement, but only the results weren't there. I think especially the Mainz game, where you have a bad referee. For me, he has destroyed the match. There was a lot of difficult decisions he make, and I think he played a good. Or under Wagner, there was no offense in the game for me. It was a very, very defensive football, and he only plays long balls, and maybe he plays a long ball to Matondo, and that was all his tactic. And under Baum, you have a different art of playing with combinations, and I think it was a big improvement, but the results wasn't there for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. Give a shout out to Jake. Jake, how you doing, Jake? See you in the chat there. Yeah, it's I agree with you. I think there has been improvement. The discipline has been better defensively. We still give up a lot of goals, but I thought there was more structure to the team. We saw, a definite, 3-5-2 or 4-1-4-1 or different formations, but we saw some offensive tactics employed. We just couldn't finish it. We saw Mark Uth playing a lot better. He's emerged really this season. I think outside of Frederic Renov, he's been our best player, I think. He's also been one of our biggest leaders off the pitch. He's always in the press and speaking positively or trying to show some motivation for the team. So I agree with you. I think there has been improvement, and we've been talking on the podcast. There has been improvement, but the results just not coming. And we said that these 3 games, against Arminia Bielefeld from today, Augsburg and Freiburg, that they were important. We had to at least get 6 points from these 3 games, and we got 1 point. I think that first game against Augsburg, where we were winning, we had played a good game. I think 90 minutes we played good.
Yeah.
And then we stopped playing. I think that killed us I thought we, to begin with, that Tasmania Berlin record, if we get that win, that game would be fine. But now after that game, I'm like, I think we're going to get that record. That was a big punch in the stomach in that game. What did you make of that game against Augsburg?
Yeah, for me, we were the better team, and we have a win after 90 minutes. But it was it wasn't a normal game because Mark Uth has his head
concussion,
injury, and after that it wasn't a normal game. I think if he hasn't this injury in the head, Augsburg never makes the 1-0.
I agree.
And, after that, we play good football in the second half, but in the last minute they make the 2-2, and they haven't. It was very disappointing, and for me, it wasn't the game. It wasn't the
result that you wanted, I guess.
Yeah. It's a bit difficult because English is not my first language, but I try my best.
Your English is better than my German. I'll tell you that, okay? So I'm not going to hate on you on that. It was a gut punch, I think, to the stomach for sure. And I think the one thing that has not improved under Baum from Wagner is defensively, especially set pieces. The goal, the game-winning or game-tying goal in Augsburg, leaving a guy like Richter all open by himself. We see so many goals this year with set pieces where we can't stop anybody. The goal today from Klose by himself between Ceane and Ochipka.
Yeah,
that seems to be the same constant since Wagner and even before Wagner probably. But defensively, where we used to be strong, even a little bit under Tedesco, we're no longer strong anymore, and you can't win if you can't stop goals.
Yeah. And for me, sometimes we are good in the defense, but they make always individual mistakes, the players, and because of that, you get the goals, not because of the defense of the whole team, only because of the individual mistakes of some players.
Yeah, and it seems to compound. It seems like, one mistake and we'll have like 3 players make the mistake at the same time almost, and it just every team kills us when we make those mistakes. How many times have you seen Kabak or somebody pushing up more than they should, no one coming back to help out, and just leaves teams just make passes, cut through our defense, and they go on breakaways and score goals. It's very frustrating. And then obviously yesterday, I guess maybe 24 hours ago, the news came out that Baum would be released and Stevens would fill back in at least for the next 2 games.
Mhm.
What was your reaction to that when you heard that Baum is going to be sacked and Stevens is coming back again it feels like the 40th time, but it's the 4th time.
For me, to bring back Stevens when you when Baum is out, it's the best move you can do.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a bad move to fire Baum, because you give him the last 2 games. It doesn't matter. I think Baum, maybe he make a point against Bielefeld, and the decision you make it 1 day before the game, and I don't get it, because you have not the whole week, because it was an English week with a match on Wednesday, I think, but you can make the decision on Wednesday, and after that you have a bit 2 days more of preparation, and I don't get it. I don't get it, really.
I don't either. It was like the same thing when Baum was hired, right? They let go Wagner with like on a Thursday, and Baum had 2 days for Leipzig. Like that's not fair to him. And same thing with Stevens. Like if you knew that you were going to fire him, should have done it Wednesday and give Stevens a little bit more time. It's good to see Naldo still there, because I think they need leadership in the locker room. I think for me it was big in the game against I want to say it was either Augsburg or the Freiburg game. You had both Kharman and Sambuli coming back into the lineup, 2 guys who have one of the most experienced guys on the team, the most leadership on the team outside of Mark Uth now, especially when he was injured. I was glad to see them in there. It looked like it helped a little bit, especially in the Augsburg match, but still it seems like the quality with the guys is not working. And I hope, at least my hope with Stevens coming in, is that he'll be able to motivate the guys. Maybe not obviously not today, but maybe for the DFB Pokal match. I was shocked, like you said, with him coming in. And do you think he's going to be the long-term caretaker? I mean, for the rest of this year, or you think it's just these 2 games and we're going to bring somebody else in?
It's only for the 2 games, and I don't think I don't want it to give him more, because I don't want that Huub Stevens is a coach with we go in the 2nd division, because for me it's a club legend, and he rescued us 2 years ago, and I don't want him to go with us in the Division 2.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a legendary coach for us. He's coach of the century for us. And, I think if, that the last thing people remember is what that team went to fight the Bundesliga, right? And we don't want to mess up his memory more than it already is. And I agree with you. I think, I like to see him do these 2 games and then see what happens, find another person. But who comes in? Obviously, a lot of rumors the last couple of days. You heard Funkel. His name wasn't mentioned. A lot of fans are still nostalgic about Domenico Tedesco. But that Tedesco is probably not going to happen in the next 2 days. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Funkel's coming in? Do you think someone else might be coming in? I mean, there are not many people available right now, is there?
I think maybe Funkel, or maybe Buskins without Stevens. It's an option if you don't get any coach. It's an option you have still have. For me, our coach in the Unite 19 is maybe an option for the half of the season, because our youth teams don't play because of Corona. And when you say you don't have something to lose, you can give him a half of the season. He's the best coach in the best youth coach in Germany, and I think when you give there a lot of young players chances to play in the Bundesliga and to bring their new skills and new players in to bring a new
Just a new vision, new set of eyes, I guess, to the team and new spirit. Yeah.
New spirit, right? And Stevens did the same with 2 years ago when he bring, for example, Bougelab into the team, and it was, for me, it was a good move, because we have new players without the thinking of the 19 or 20 games without a win, and it's a good move to make for me.
I think over the last 29 games now, the times that we've looked the best out of these games is when we had some of the youth players in there. I remember last year in the Rückrunde, we were playing so bad, but the game against Leverkusen, we had a bunch of the young guys playing, and they looked really good in that game. They're motivated, they had passion, and we need that at the moment. You know, that coal miner mentality is missing from a lot of these guys at the moment. And we've seen some guys emerge this year. Obviously, Katuchu is one we've all known. Can Bazduan, Bougelab, like you mentioned. Malik Tiao has been playing now also. We saw a little bit of Matthew Hopp. Is your fear, do you think Stevens will continue to play these players, at least in the next game? And even the new coach, I think, to your credit, I think if we bring in the youth coach for Schalke, we can see that. We can see more youth players into the team. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's where the team really should focus in this next, for the Rückrunde, to try to finish this out, to have these youth players play more? Or do you think we should stick with the veterans that have been playing this season?
For me, we should focus to our youth players. I think we have to sell a lot of players in the winter, because a lot of players don't have a contract for the second division, and when you don't sell him now, you don't get money from them, and we need a lot of money, because we have 300 millions of money we have to pay, it's very difficult for us to go with such a great millions of
debt,
to go with it in the second division. So we have to focus on our youth players to bring their new players in, and which don't cost so many euros, and we have to look out for the players who wants to go with us in the second division. And I think we try our best to stay in the Bundesliga, but you have to make a plan also for the second division, because when we don't make now a plan for the worst case scenario, maybe we go to the fourth division because we don't get the license for the second division.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. And I think so many people who are asking for us just to go to Zweite Bundesliga is like, be careful what you wish for, because we may get worse. Especially if you're in debt, we're going to lose a lot of Bundesliga money if that happens. So I agree, selling players. We've heard I think this the other day, we heard that Juventus will pick up the option on Weston McKennie. He's doing very well there. Obviously, a lot of rumors about Ozan Kabak, possibly Amin Harit, for sure. Nabil Bentaleb are some of the names we may be seeing, depart. But I think you're right. I think more than ever, we have to rely on our youth team to try to invigorate us. They don't have that same mentality of losing, over the last year, like the guys who've been playing now. So we need to find a way to do it. So let's say we do bring in Funkel. Let's just say, because that's the guy who's been the most we've heard about lately. Kind of like in a similar way to Baum. He's the same age as Huub Stevens, but he played with Fortuna Düsseldorf. He was the manager there, and he had an okay record. I mean, he's been mostly bottom half of the table kind of manager. Do you know much about him enough to say that he would be a success or a failure at Schalke 04? Because I don't. I'll be honest. I
don't. What I know is that he, on his time on Fortuna Düsseldorf, he played with Rahman, and he played very well under Funkel. He made 10 goals. And we need a striker, and when he play under Funkel and he make him to the player he was in Fortuna, we get there a player who scored 10 goals, and
that's a good
it's
point.
Very important for the Rückrunde, and Yeah, I think he is a coach who play with a good defense and play counter attacks. I think we have for his system we don't have the wing backs. We only have Kharman and maybe Matondo. This could be a problem of his system. Maybe we need some new players in the winter, and but I think he's a good coach, especially for the fighting to get to the relegation place, and but he's also the trainer in the Bundesliga who goes he has a record of going to the second division.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. The few things I knew about him, I knew that, and that's why I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing to have, But I forgot about the Benito Raman was under him, and that's how we got him, because he played so well there. So that's good, and hopefully he could get more out of Mark Uth and some of these other attackers, because we need to score more goals if we want to stay in the Bundesliga. We need to score more goals.
I mean, when he was the coach of Düsseldorf. He hasn't such a good player material like we have now. For me,
That's true.
Is maybe the best 6 or 7 or 8 teams just from the player we have, and maybe he can make something with it.
That's a good point. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he has certainly more to work with now with Schalke than he did with Fortuna. So we got that going in our favor. Anything else you want to talk about before I was going to say something, but I'm going to let you. You have any questions or anything you want to talk about in particular, either with Baum or Stevens or anything?
I think Tedesco is a really good coach for us, but not now, or maybe now, but I don't think we can get him.
Yeah, I think his contract ends at the end of this year, coming up 2021. I think.
But I think on the summer we can make a second choice, because I think Tedesco isn't finished with Schalke 04, and with a new team and with new stuff, I think we can make a good time with Tedesco again.
So you would welcome him back then? You would open him, come back with open arms. I think I would too. I think a lot of us have a love affair with Tedesco, because he did understand the passion, what it means to be a Schalke, and I think you're right. I think he has that love affair is not lost. He still talks about him even when he's the Spartak interviews. What we for those who haven't been paying attention to Tedesco, he's doing pretty well with Spartak right now. Last year he was manager of the year, voted by the fan or the coaches. This year his team is up there in the table. They're almost tied for first, but they're the goal differential. So he's playing very well. He may not be enjoying times right now because there's been some issues lately with some players. Some racial comments have been made against him from other teams. So maybe that'll be in the back of his head. And he says, you know what, I'm going to go back to Germany. And if Schalke, offer him something, I can see him coming back. He finally found a system at Spartak. I think he uses now the 3-5-2 all the time now. With us, he changed it up all the time. Weston McKennie played everywhere except for goalie. And now at Spartak, he uses one system, and he's kind of developed himself more those couple years that he's been there. So I think he would do a lot better this second time around. It's going to be hard. Go ahead.
For me, he was successful before Schalke with Aue. He rescued him. He rescued Aue in the second division. After that, he has a successful year with Schalke. He
finished
second place. It's very good. When you see the results now. After that, he is now successful in Spartak. So he is a very good coach, and now he has a lot of experience with many teams, with other leagues, and I think he knows the club, and he was the perfect manager for us. But I think Heidel, when he go out, Tedesco was alone in the place, and he hasn't the best. He has good players, but not a team. it's a problem that now Wagner and Baum also have, or Stevens. And Stevens said it after Tedesco was out, that the players, he knows the problem, and it's not the fault of Tedesco.
Yeah. We got some comments here. So first comment is from the Diggler. He says, so the DT is used to coach subpar teams. Tedesco's used to coaching subpar teams. He is, and he bring Eisenberg out of relegation. I think like 8 games ago. He saved them. Obviously got them to move back up, and then obviously us, we finished second place. Lars says Tedesco working with new young talents would be a dream for the summer. Schalke desperately needs new faces in the team. I agree about that. And Pancakes with C's says he is not going to leave Spartak before summer next year. I agree. We're not going to get him until the summer season at the earliest, and he has not signed an extension with them, so that leaves an opening for us at least to hope for. There will be some people who say I don't want Tedesco back, but those are the same people who say we want to see Huub Stevens again. So it's like if you want it, or you don't want it. I'm willing to give him another chance. Certainly, I know you do too. And there's several people who would want to see him back again just to see what he can do. I mean, we said how he finished second place and it was impressive. It's even more impressive because he used the same players pretty much he has now that we're losing every game, and he finished in second place with them. So for the most part, no Naldo and some other players, but it'd be interesting, I think, to see if he came back. But we got a long way to go. Are you yet in your head thinking we're going to get relegated? It feels like this is the normal Winterpause, but we're not halfway even done the season. We've only played 13 games. We still have 26 games or 25 games left. Still a long way to go. Anything can happen. Do you feel that we're going to be relegated at this point, or do you still have some kind of optimism that we can figure this out and pull it out? Well, it's getting harder for us that are optimists to say, okay, I'm still up. It's hard every week, and these 3 games has put a dagger in our heart because we're like, what do you feel?
It depends on the next decision on the coach. When you get a good coach who is good with the team, then everything is possible. And maybe with 5 wins in a row, you get on the good places, 15 or 14. Yeah. But when you make a bad decision and then it's over, then it's completely over. And for me, it's a bit. I'm a bit scared because Schneider, he was with all of his stuff. He make bad decisions. For example, Reschke, he isn't there. Yeah. Wagner isn't there anymore, and now Baum and Ibisevic as a player, all the stuff he brings to Schalke after a few months or maybe a year, these are all bad decisions, and I'm a bit scared because now Schneider makes another decision of a coach for us, and I'm scared that it would be again a bad decision.
I think whoever they bring in, it's going to be difficult for them. We knew when Manuel Baum was hired that it was going to be difficult for him. He knew what he was getting into. You don't have any money to deal with. You have the players that with the poor mentality in their head, they can't get the losing out. It's difficult for whoever, and I think they need someone who's been there, maybe like a Friedhelm Funkel, someone like that who's been there. They're used to that kind of mentality and find a way to get him out. Stevens can do it, but do we really want him for a second half of the season to ruin his legacy a little bit? We don't want that. And I kind of agree with you earlier. You said about why don't you just keep Baum for the 2 games and then make the decision? Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Pancakes with C says talk about Funkel. We did talk about Funkel earlier, and we thought it could work, especially with his connection with Rahman. It could help him with the goal scoring and stuff like that, and he's a little bit better disciplined defensively than is Baum. Dirk asks, the question is, will Domenico Tedesco coach Schalke in Zweite Bundesliga? That is a question. Maybe his passion will let him do that. Hopefully we don't have to be in the Zweite Bundesliga and find out. And Lars says, if we were in Zweite Bundesliga, Tedesco could become a club legend if he gets us back to the Bundesliga. That's true, but hopefully we don't get there. You know what I mean? Lars also says Schneider should have left altogether with Baum. It's just a disgrace that he's still with us, and I don't trust him. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their thoughts on Schneider and the backroom staff. And a lot of stuff is going on, this year, no doubt about it. But I think ultimately what we need to do is find leadership on the pitch, find ways to get a win. I think with these 3 games that we just had, if we had won that game against Augsburg, I think we win all 3 games. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think if we get 1 win, I think that'll change things. We may not be the best team in the league, but I think we'll start seeing us going back up the table. And like you said, we'll get 5 in a row or something like that. This team can do that. It's just that first win is going to be the hurdle. And they're probably going to celebrate like they won the Champions League when they get that first win. I mean, I probably will too. I don't know about you.
Surely.
Let's see. Still Lucien Favre. Would you take him? I don't know. I don't know if I'd take Favre. He says, I don't know if it's the coach. There's something very wrong within the team. I mean, there is. There's a lot of things going on in the backroom staff. We just saw Uwe Vetter, or I forget his name. He just resigned, only being on the supervisory board this year. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. We can only talk about what we see, at least what I can see. I'm all over here in the United States. I can only see so much. You got a better view than I do, Cedric. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna look into the first half of the season next episode. Cedric, if you want to come back, we want to have you back to talk the first half of the season because there's so much to talk about, and we're gonna need help. We're gonna do that in the episode next weekend. But yeah, before we wrap this up, anything you want to talk about before we get out of the show here?
I'm good.
Yeah, I think I am too. So yeah, let's wrap this one up. If you haven't done so yet, please sign up for the Schalke US newsletter. Simply just go to the website, put your email address, and you will get updates every month. The link is in the description below on YouTube, and we'll tweet it out as well. But yes, keep tuning in each week, and we'll have another podcast here in a couple days to keep you up with the latest with the Royal Blues. We want to thank Schalke, all our followers, and Cedric for providing us tidbits from our podcast today. Cedric, this is your opportunity. Tell our listeners where they can follow you, and tell them about whatever you want to plug, your YouTube, anything you want to plug. The floor is yours.
Yeah, you can follow me on my YouTube channel. It's called Cedric Zelmat, and you will find me. And when you look on the videos, you can find my social media. Also, I'm not anymore on Twitter because my account get banned. I don't know why.
But
I'll
bring you back.
Maybe I get him back, and yeah.
We hope to see you back soon anyway, but we'll keep pushing for you no matter what. We'll do whatever we can to get you back on. So thank you again, Cedric. We look forward to chatting with you next week to wrap up the Hinrunde during the mini Winterpause. What's it, 10 days, I think? It's very, very short. Yeah. So yes, thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone who's listening here. You can follow me at R_KHARMAN. Obviously, follow the podcast, SchalkeMerica, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anything, YouTube. You name it, we're there. So until the next podcast comes, my friends, stay ready, and we'll be with you soon. Tschüss.